Howdy howdy, this is Crafty Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover my round 1 predictions for the new Iron Man, Infinity War, and Thor arenas. So the first thing I like to do is always compare these, or at least categorize these on how I think these arenas will compare to past arenas. And when it comes to feature arenas, really there's kind of two groups that we're seeing in terms of similar results, and that's old champs and new champs. And with Iron Man, of course, Iron Man Infinity War, he's a new champ. And then when it comes to the 4-star basic arenas, really there's two now. Since the 5-star feature arena has been introduced, there's really only two groups for that arena as well, and that's either low interest or high interest. And because Thor's been in the game for some time, most people have them, even though he has a decent utility. He has some use in the game still, but I do think he'll fall in that low interest for a 4-star basic champ. So with now that I have these new arenas categorized, let's take a look at some of the past results for the similar type arenas. Starting first with the low interest 4-star basic results, you can see for the most part there's a pretty standard kind of trend line right around from 1.7 all the way up to 2 million. So I really do think Thor will fit somewhere in that range. Jumping to the 3-star feature arena for new champs, you can see kind of very similar to the 4-star basic low interest arenas. There's a pretty predictable trend that we're seeing here, where it's anywhere from 1 million to 1.1 million. So these two first arenas are pretty easy. It's when we get to the 4-star and 5-star feature arena for Iron Man that it gets kind of interesting. But at the end of the day, it's not that variable anyway. I mean, if it's not very volatile, you can see that there's some, kind of general pattern here. Starting first with the 4-star feature arena, you can see across all the recent champs that you're anywhere from 12.6 to 14 million, and so that's not a lot of variation when you think about where these numbers could land. So I do really think that Iron Man will push this number right around the top tier that we're seeing right now, like what we saw with Proxima Midnight, around 14 million. Now jumping to the 5-star feature, and there's a little bit more variation. You can see with Sentinel was all the way back at 31 million, but then with Sabretooth it was all the way at 45 million. Then what you don't see here is Proxima at 50 million, so there's definitely been some high numbers that we've seen here. And even during that slight period of time after the dungeons were added, there was a significant drop in the arenas. Now that seems to be corrected out as people have gotten used to the dungeons, etc., and for whatever other reasons that was causing that dip. It looks like we're back to kind of these type of numbers, as you can see with Captain America or Captain America Infinity War at 42 million. So I think we'll see a similar number for Iron Man Infinity War. Now this is just looking at trends. What I always love to do, especially with the first round, is get the input from you, the community. So I always post polls out of my on the community tab of my YouTube channel, asking you, what do you think these arenas will be, especially for those that I think will be more interesting. And in this case, with Iron Man Infinity War, it'll be the 4-star and 5-star feature arena. So let's take a first look here with what do you think the first round arena cutoff will be for the 4-star feature Iron Man. You can see that first of all, 395 of you took the time to vote, so thank you very much. And out of those, almost 400 votes, most people think, a majority for sure, 55% feel that he'll be over 15 million for the cutoff. And when I looked into the comment section, there wasn't a lot of comments for anything but the 15 million. And I think Revan here gives you a good kind of summary of what everybody was saying. Very strong champ with auto block. I definitely can see a lot of Iron Man, Infinity War, and Alliance War in the future. And I think that is a common theme. You're going to see it over when we get to the 5-star feature question or poll. But yeah, I think for the most part, that's what most people are saying. They think because and there's some hype. I think there was a lot of folks mentioning the hype for this new champion. So between that and auto block, and it appears this is going to be a really good Alliance War champ, that this is why people are saying he's going to push on the higher end of the trend line. And jumping over now to the 5-star feature arena, kind of the same thing. 303, not necessarily as many as the 4-star feature, but 333 of you voted, and I appreciate those who took the time to do so. But you can see again, and this one's even a bigger majority, almost 70% of you think he's going to be over 46 million. And Marco, again, is kind of summarizing the same that Revan did before. Not to mention, people are starting to figure out the brutality of him as an Alliance War boss, an AW boss. So yeah, kind of the general theme. Everybody thinks he's going to be really good Alliance War boss, defense side, and also the there's a lot of hype around this champ. So I think between all of this, everybody's the general opinion from the community is that these the cutoffs are going to be high. So keeping that in mind, plus as also looking at the trend line, here are my thoughts that I think are going to be the first round cutoff for these arenas, and this is for the veterans bracket, so meaning your account's been open for 61 days or longer. So starting first with the 5-star feature Ironman on the left, you can see I have the cutoff at 46 million with a top 10% at 11 million. Jumping into the 4-star feature Ironman, I think that cutoff for those top 800 Ironman are going to be, or Ironmen, I guess, will be 15 million with a top 10% at 4.1 million. Then for Thor 4-star basic, I think that cutoff will be 1.9 million with 11 to 25% at 1.3 million. And then lastly, when we think about Ironman, the 3-star version, it'll be 1.1 million with 11 to 25% around 500,000. And these again are where I think the cutoffs will be, give or take 5 or 10%. Either higher or lower. I think that we're going to be kind of in those ballparks in terms of the cutoff. These are the numbers I think will be. So what I always like to do is kind of give you a grind target where I would actually go if you kind of want to give yourself a little cushion for what I think these cutoffs will be. And I think starting first with the 5-star feature Ironman on the left, you can see I've got the grind target at 48 million with a top 10% at 12 million. Keep in mind 48 million, I know that's a huge number, but that's lower than the all-time high, which is Proxima Midnight at 50 million. So we've already beaten this number. So there's no reason to say, especially with the hype around this champ, that this number couldn't get there again. And then we jump over to the 4-star feature arena at 17 million for safety grind, top 10% at 4.5 million. If you really want to make sure the 4-star basic Thor, you get him, go just at 2.1 million. Should be an easy grind with 11 to 25% at 1.4 million. And lastly, if you're really interested in getting the 3-star feature new Ironman, go to 1.2 million with 11 to 25% at 520,000. Again, the safety targets are for grind targets are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the beginner and intermediate bracket, I don't have a ton of data to base kind of like a prediction against. So these are just some rough ranges based off of my own personal experience in these arenas months ago, as well as updated results that I keep on getting from folks across the community. And I appreciate those who take the time to post those results in the comment section of my videos, as that does help me with these predictions. So anyway, or I should say rough ranges, estimated ranges, because there's still not enough data to really put any trend analysis against. But anyway, with that being said, for the beginners bracket, which means your account's been open from 1 to 30 days, the 3-star feature Ironman, you should be able to get him for around 250,000. The 4-star basic Thor around 1 million, and the same thing for the Ironman Infinity War 4-star feature, good about 1.2 million. Jumping down to the intermediate bracket, meaning your account's been open for 31 to 60 days, you should be able to get the 3-star feature Ironman for 550,000, the 4-star basic Thor around 750 to 800,000, and the 4-star feature Ironman Infinity War right around 1.3 to 1.4 million. Again, these are just some very rough ranges to kind of consider and grind against, as these numbers are very volatile given the total population of people actually grinding in these arenas change from week to week, let alone day to day kind of thing. So kind of keep that in mind when you're working against these numbers. Again, so these are my thoughts for the intermediate beginner bracket. Here are my thoughts again for the grind targets for the veterans bracket, as well as actual round 1 prediction cutoffs. Would love to hear your thoughts, so on down in the comment section. We can definitely talk about them there. If you have any questions, post them there as well, and we can I'd be happy to answer them there. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate you clicking the thumbs up button. If you like this and other videos I have on the channel, would really appreciate a subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a great day.